North versus South is done and dusted. It is the closest thing we've had to international rugby in a bloody long time, and thank goodness the game didn't disappoint. As a man from the North Island, obviously the result itself with the South getting a 38-35 win right at the death was pretty heartbreaking. But to be honest, the North-South games have not been a regular thing here in New Zealand, so I'm pretty much just happy we got to see two very, very good level teams go cracking at it. If I'm not mistaken, the lead changed 7 times in this game. We had 5 tries for each team. It was just action-packed stuff. If you haven't seen the game, find a way to watch it. Either use ESPN Plus's on-demand service, or All Blacks will surely have the highlights package on YouTube. But man, I've got a lot of notes here. I'll go through some of the key points of the game. You guys can let me know your thoughts as well. I managed to dig up some stats as well from both the broadcast and from Ultimate Rugby's website. So, yeah, I'll go through some of the key events of the game, some of my thoughts, and you guys can let me know yours down in the comments. The game kind of got underway with an early indication about how it might be going to go, with essentially from the kickoff, Caleb Clark absolutely running riot through the Southern defence. And it was 2 minutes when we got the first try on the board with Rico Ioane. They had advantage. Beauden Barrett put a grubber kick through. And sure enough, Rico went in for the try. Geordie kind of slid into him after he'd already scored the try. And Rico didn't appreciate it, gave him some lip. And you don't need to see that kind of stuff, to be honest. Once a guy scored a try, man, just leave him be. But anyway, it's 7-0. The conversion goes in off the post. 7-0 to the North. But the lead is pretty short-lived because Laulala gets a try for the South on 6 minutes. And it's one where the North were seemingly desperate to try and keep Brad Weber up to force a maul and then get the resulting turnover. But they never got the turnover, and when the ball popped out of the back of that maul, Laulala, all he needed to do was dot it down. It is probably the easiest try he will ever score. So pretty poor defense from the North. Quick thinking from Laulala, so it's 7 points apiece. And on 10 minutes, the South kick a penalty. And when you look at this scoreline, and to be honest, both sides had turned down shots at 3 by that point, and it looked like nobody was going to go for 3s, but how crucial is that 3 in this final result? I don't know, it just seems to have been a thing. 12 minutes, unfortunately, Braden Ennor goes off. He was the 13 jumper for the South, so it's a pretty bad news story for him. So he went off. Hopefully he's all right and makes a pretty speedy recovery. Pretty unfortunate for a young guy. It looked like his knee, I think. 17 minutes, Damian McKenzie gets a try for the North. Remember, he is a proper Southern man. He is from Southland. And, he gets a try for the North. Great hands in the build-up, man. Proper silky skills. And the North were really exemplifying that in that first half. It was like Caleb Clark to Rico Ioane to TJ Perenara. And then Z-Mac is the final man who gets the ball. It's proper skills stuff. It's why people like watching New Zealand rugby. So it's 14 points to 10. 21 minutes, the South go close. Geordie Barrett almost gets to a little kick through before Hoskins to Tutu, but can't quite get it down. Even if he did do the TMO motions hand signal side, they checked it. Nah, he didn't get it. However, they go back for an advantage, turn down a penalty, like a shot at goal. And from their little set piece maul move, Cody Taylor gets what seems to be a try. However, the TMO rules that one off for obstruction. Now, to be honest, I didn't think Paul Williams had a great day with the whistle in this one. He was very whistle happy and seemed to miss, for mine, some pretty glaring stuff. And I don't usually talk about refs in these reviews, but I didn't. I thought that try was all right for the South, to be honest. He ruled it as obstruction. I thought, from what do I know, but it's a tough call on the South for that one. And on 25 minutes, the North get a warning for conceding too many penalties because they are absolutely under the pump in terms of, the ref just blowing up every little thing for the Northern guys. Geordie Barrett misses a resulting penalty, and concerningly, Richie Moonga goes off for an HIA on about 25 minutes. So it's one of the things about these games. It's probably the reason they don't play them every year is the intensity is pretty brutal, and they want to save their best players to play other countries rather than necessarily smash them into each other, so they're getting all kinds of injuries. So Moonga goes off for an HIA. Josh Ioane comes on. 31 minutes though. Geordie Barrett, who remember is born in the North Island in Taranaki, he gets a try in the corner. A great little pop pass for him on the blind side, and he's up against Sevu Reece, and that's an absolute mismatch because Geordie is a huge human being, and Sevu, whilst he's quick, he's not all that big, so he can't stop Geordie. It's a really well taken try. Any doubts about Geordie's loyalty for the South are expunged at that moment. It was a great little pass, so the South go back in front. 35 minutes, the South seemed to almost blow it because they took a quick line out on their own goal line, and Bodie actually was the first guy to react to it. Went over for a try, but he got the ball from an offside position. He wasn't back 10 when the line out was set and taken, so that one didn't end up counting for the North. There were some handbags right before half-time. The guy manning the soundboard, which had the fake crowd noises, was really bad. I think that game would have been better off without the fake crowd. It was jarring, honestly. It was delayed reaction, or it was too sudden or too obvious. If you're going to do the crowd noises, it needs to be really subtle that you don't actually notice you're hearing it. It was jarring. I didn't really appreciate it at all. But yeah, they go in halftime. The South are in front. The stats at halftime. The possession is 62-38 to the South. Territory is 63-37. However, run meters are 248-119 in favour of the North. So when the North get the ball, they're looking dangerous. South are kicking it and they're getting penalties just to piggyback their way up the field. So it's not pretty reading for the Northern guys in terms of the stats, but their tackling percentage is 91, and the South is a disconcerting 72. So their defence never really got on all that cracking. I think the halftime penalty count would have been 9-4, with the North obviously conceding the bulk of those. Halftime, Aaron Smith comes on, which is probably good news because he really made a pretty instantaneous impact, I thought. And interestingly, Richie Mo'unga comes back on. I thought it was 10 minutes for how long you're allowed to come back on after you've had an HIA, but he must have passed it because they brought him back on in the second half, and it had been at least 15 minutes, I would say, of playtime before he actually came back on. So it's good news for New Zealand rugby if he has not had a concussion. Second half, Aaron Smith gets the try, man. Like I mentioned, immediate impact on 46 minutes for him. The North finally get some ball and finally go through some phases, so it's 21-17 back in front. However, some loose play, to put it mildly, from the North sees Will Jordan get his first try. And to be fair, Will Jordan, despite being much hyped in Super Rugby, is kind of quiet in this game up until that point. He won't remain quiet for the remainder of the game, let's just put it that way. But D-Mac with a loose pass that goes to ground. Caleb Clark with a little bit of a sevens move that tries to keep the ball in play. He keeps it in play, and who's the first man to react? Will Jordan, and nobody can catch him. He's got too much pace. He goes over for a try, so it's 21 for the North, 24 for the South. So they are back in front. And then the South extend the lead through Tyrell Lomax, who's not long been on. Maybe a misread from Rico in defence, but it was a good little pass from the South, and Tyrell Lomax goes over from short distance untouched to make it 31-21. So the South with a 10-point lead, seemingly getting the better end of the ref's whistle. Like, honestly, the ref is not picking up many of the not straights. At one point, Geordie Barrett crawls along the ground, doesn't get pinged for it. Like, I mean, maybe I've just got absolute northern goggles on, but honestly, the ref was painful. And I don't talk about refs. If you follow my channel, I hardly ever talk about the refs. But anyway, Rico got one on 66, right after we were kind of criticizing him in the live chat during the stream that we were doing. They had numbers outside, but Rico just decided to take the ball himself, and sure enough, it was the right call because he got the try. So it was 31-28, the North still behind. However, on 71 minutes, Ash Dixon gets a try. 7+ phases, I think, for the North. So good bit of continuity. 35-31, they're back in front. They took the conversion really quickly, so you kind of got to wonder if there was anything dodgy going on with the grounding. But they didn't check it, and Justin Marshall was pretty disturbed about that. So yeah, the North are in front. There's not long to go. They get a turnover on 77 minutes, like right on their own goal line. They're holding the Southern guys out. It looks like they're definitely gonna win it. I think they've got a line out. All they need to do is secure the ball. But it's not straight, Ash Dixon. So South gets a scrum, they get a penalty, they kick for touch, they get maul, they get advantage, they set another line out once they go back for the penalty. Eventually, again, with advantage, the South do a cross kick to that man, Will Jordan. He's up against Mitch Hunt. Mitch Hunt ain't a big guy. And you better believe Will Jordan took that ball. He goes over for a try right at the death, and they kick the conversion to make it 38 points to 35. So, yeah, she's at the death win for the South. I'm pretty gutted as a guy from the North. I was cheering for the North, but like I said, it's not really a traditional rivalry that's been drilled into us through our childhood or anything. So, and I mentioned, like, you know, Geordie Barrett played for the South. He's actually from the North. D-Max from the South. He played for the North. You know, they're playing for the wrong teams, essentially. But, yeah, overall, it was a cracking game. Proper entertainment. Good ad for New Zealand rugby, you would have to say. The final stats, possession and territory kind of even out. 56% possession, 53% territory for the South. So they still edged it, but the North had the better of that second half. Tackling percentage, the North finished with 91%, which is solid, whereas the South were at 79%, which is actually quite poor. But penalties conceded. The last they showed it on this broadcast screen was 19-9, and then after that, the North gave away at least 2 penalties, like at least advantages, so it's probably around 21-9. And it's pretty hard to win a game if you're conceding that many bloody penalties, so pretty costly. Defenders beaten was 8-10 actually in favour of the South. Clean breaks though, 10 for the North, 5 for the South. Kicks from hand, 16 by the North, but 32 by the South, so a wee bit of a difference in style at times perhaps. What can I say? It was a fantastic game, and I'm happy I watched it. So, yeah, like I said, if you guys haven't seen the game, definitely check out the All Blacks YouTube channel. I'm sure they will put highlights up if they haven't done by the time this video goes up. And if you can watch the full game, it's definitely one that is worth a watch. It has its slow periods, but overall, very, very entertaining stuff. You guys let me know your thoughts. What did you think of the ref? Am I being totally one-eyed? Like I said, I thought he disallowed a pretty hard one on the Southern guys, so hopefully I'm not being totally one-eyed, but I didn't think he had his best game. I was almost going to say the Crusaders, but the Southern guys for large periods were really dominant, but the scoreboard just kept kind of trading places as to who was in the lead, which is what generally makes for pretty entertaining rugby. So, yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts. I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.